What you're about to see is part of a larger interview I did with someone who got rhabdo, and I'll link to that full review below so you can check that out, and I hope you enjoy this small segment.
I did have what they diagnosed as Pectus Excavatum, which is where your sternum is caving inward, and it can in turn put pressure on the heart, lungs, and kind of move things around in there. And they did say that I had some abnormalities with my EKG. But at that point, they said the abnormality with the EKG was just something that I was born with. And my heart just functioned a little bit different than what was textbook normal. But they said it was my normal. But they just happened to find the Pectus Excavatum on the CT and said, it's listed as severe, but it doesn't seem to be affecting your heart in any way. They set me up with some additional testing to test my lung capacity, and all of that came back normal. And they said, this is just something you were born with and everything is fine. But I tend to not be okay with simple answers, and I always need to know why, which is a great thing and a bad thing sometimes. So I really just followed this path with Pectus because I knew that after doing my research that Pectus excavatum can continually get worse as you grow older, and if it was going to affect me any further, I wanted to know and I wanted to get it checked out. And at that point is when I reached out to a Pectus specialist at Mayo Clinic, and they set me up for consultation and some additional further testing. And at that point, I flew to Mayo. They set me up with a long list of appointments to check various different things. And upon their testing, they did find, and I have no medical background, so I may butcher a little bit of the explanation in this, but what they did find is that my pectus is causing pressure and squeezing on the right side of my heart. And when it does that, when you're exercising, of course, your heart kind of does a couple of different things. Your heart rate increases, so your heart beats faster to pump things, move blood around. And your blood pressure rises, your heart expands and contracts harder to try to pump that blood flow through your body, because your body needs more oxygen and blood flow when you're exercising and when you have an increase in activity. And with mine being so suppressed on that one side, my heart rate goes up, but I never get to that point where I tire out before I can ever get to a point beyond that. I've never been able to hit that next phase of exercise without restriction and, me physically not being able to do it. And their explanation kind of was that, I don't have any room in my chest for my heart to do what it's supposed to do.
And that kind of makes sense because blood enters the heart from the right side.
Correct.
And so if something's pressing on the right side, that's limiting the amount of blood and oxygen and nutrients that can get to the right side, which means you're limited in what you can get out of the left side.
Correct.
Which is going to decrease your exercise performance and make you work even harder. And that could set up a nasty cycle where rhabdo could become more apparent.
Right. So, at this point, I am limited on what I can do as far as cardio and things like that, because not knowing how my body will continue to react without that extra ability to function normally during exercise, I'm limited on what I can do at the moment.